Hello and welcome to my knitting podcast episode 3. So I'm gonna take a break from test knitting. It looks like denim. Well, maybe yellow is just not my color. This podcast is going to be for April 2024. It is May 4th today, so I'm a tiny bit late, but last weekend it was raining a lot, so I didn't have proper lighting to film this. It was so dark to the point where I was turning on my room lights during the day, so I just didn't really want to deal with that. And also, May 1st started on a Wednesday anyway, so I'm only 4 days late. It's all good, right? Similar to the other podcasts I've already done, I'm going to be starting with FOs, then whips, yarn acquisitions, and ending it off with knitting plans. So let's start with FO. I'm actually wearing the first one. It is the Flocon sweater by Yamamuro. This is a test knit. So it started about maybe the second last week of March. I don't remember. And it ended on April 22nd. I believe it's a 5-week test knit. This is my second test knit and I'm very happy with it. This is knitted on Bérénice and Candide, both by the Rerum Natura. The Bérénice is in Orgeat and then Candide is in Citronnade. So these two were held together to create this. I knitted it on 6mm needles, although the pattern I believe suggested 5.5. I had to go up half a size because I couldn't meet gauge, but after going up half a size, I think everything ended up turning out perfectly. I did film a knit vlog on this one, which is going to go up soon. And in the vlog, I kept talking about how amazing this mohair is and how soft it is and how non-itchy I felt it was. But I'm gonna be honest with you, after blocking it, I definitely feel like the mohair fluffed up and the fibers definitely created a little bit more of a itchy surface for me. But with that being said, I'm not wearing this with anything. It's actually just bare against my skin. It's not too bad, but if you're super sensitive, you might mind it. This pattern is called Flocon, which means flake, and I wonder if it's because of the stitching that they do here. So I'm gonna sit up to show you guys. So this sweater is relatively cropped, which I think this is a really good length for a sweater. And then the sleeves are actually like perfect length, although I feel like I would like it a tiny bit longer. That's a preference thing, I think. The back has this really beautiful detailing. I think this is very common in a lot of Rui's designs. The top is stockinette stitch and the bottom is this beautiful rib slip stitch. Same with the arms, the top is stockinette and the bottom is this ridge slip stitch. To me, this stitch kind of makes it look like honeycomb, so I decided to knit this in a yellow, and also because it's spring, and yeah, that's why I chose this color. Although I feel like this is not the yellow for me, to be very honest with you. I haven't gone to the Korean color analysis or anything like that, which I have to because I need to know, but I feel like this is not the yellow for me because it makes me look very pink. I feel like I have to go a little bit more darker because it's a little bit too muted right now. I don't think I have anything else to say about the sweater. If I did leave anything out, comment it down below and I'll try to answer, and I'll be posting a knit vlog on this anyways. If you're more curious on the full process, you can check that out in a week or so. That was actually the only FO I had this month, but I did do something else where I fixed a previous FO, and that is the Belle Blouse. The Belle Blouse pattern was released on April 25th. I did actually put up the knit vlog for this one too, so go check it out if you haven't already. I kept talking about how the sash was very tight on me and I felt like I couldn't move, so I just decided that I was gonna buy another ball of the Tynn silk mohair and I would extend the sash, and that's exactly what I did. So the sash is much longer now, so I'm gonna try this on and show you guys. So I went ahead and I changed into the Belle Blouse. I don't think I wore it last time I did my knitting podcast, so here it is. It's a really pretty piece and I feel like a princess every time I wear it, honestly. The most special part about this pattern is definitely the detailing up here. It's supposed to look like Beauty and the Beast Belle. This area is knit with mohair, so is the sash right here. This is all fingering weight. For the fingering weight, I used the Sandnes garn, and for the mohair, I used the Tynn silk mohair, both of which are in Yellowmoon or Moonstone, which is a color. I believe it's 2122. I definitely feel like this yellow makes me look very red as well. Maybe yellow is just not my color. So the thing I changed about the blouse is actually the sash. You can see right here, it kind of droops a little bit. And if you look here, I did a little bit of a pleating on the side. So it creates more of like a puffy sleeve and it looks really cute. After changing this, I definitely feel like it's more wearable. I feel like I can move my arms better. I just feel more comfortable because it's also providing more coverage. So overall, I really like the changes I made to it. I think I added about 20 centimeters to the sash, which was exactly what I wanted to knit the sash to when I was knitting this. However, I ran out of mohair. But now that I have more mohair and I've added length to the sash, I think it looks great. So this is the Belle Blouse. I've changed back to the Flocon sweater, and let's move on to whip. First off, I am doing another test knit, and this one is called the Marie skirt, and I know I'm doing like 3 test knits back to back. I think I'm going to take a break after this one. I want to start knitting on my own schedule, and because it's summer, I feel like I'll be very preoccupied with other things anyway, so I'm gonna take a break from test knitting and knit some of my other things I want to knit and just keep it chill. With that being said, this is going to be my last test knit for maybe a couple months. Don't quote me, I don't know. But yeah, this is a skirt. It's my first skirt that I'm ever knitting, and I love the color of this. It looks like denim. I am so obsessed with how this one is turning out. I'm actually using 3 different types of yarn for this. So the first of the 3 yarn right here this is Good Grief's Fundamental Sock yarn. I purchased it when they were doing a March Madness sale, and I bought this color right here. I believe this one is called Eucalyptus. It looks exactly like light wash denim, so I decided I want to pair this together with this other yarn that I actually removed the color of. So this is actually the cashmere yarn that I got off of Aliexpress in blue, and the blue was really unwearable, to me at least. When I first got it, it was like this really dark, deep, but also bright teal. I don't know how to explain it, but I'll put a picture up. I just didn't feel like it worked with my closet, so I decided to use dye remover, and in the end it ended up like this, and I really liked it, but I don't think I could wear this alone either. Like, I think this would still be too bright for me, so I wanted to hold this together with something else, and at that time I already kind of thought that it looked like denim. So when I held these 2 together, I was like, yes, this is perfect, it's gonna look amazing. The problem was, when you hold a cashmere and a superwash merino with a little bit of nylon together, it becomes very soft, and I felt like it was going to pill. So I needed another yarn to kind of give it more structure, so I decided to purchase this off of Knit Picks. So I bought the Curio yarn. The color is Ciel. It's really nice in the fact that it does match really closely with all the other 2 yarns. So these 3 together makes this yarn combination, as you can see. It looks really good, and I'm very excited to wear this. Like, even from far away, I think it kind of looks like denim. Is it all in my head or does it actually look like denim? I don't even know. I finished the waistband so far, and the waistband is so beautiful. So this is the inside of the waistband. It's so clean. Look at the outside. The construction of this is insanely clean, and I'm so excited to wear this. I just finished the German short row last night, and now I'm working on the hip increases. Actually, this whole section I did in one day, like just this area, so it's definitely not too long of a knit at all, so hopefully I can finish it by the deadline, which is June 9th. I have about a little bit more than a month, and I believe it should be okay. I'm making a midi size because I typically like midi skirts, and I did think about making a mini, but I wouldn't be able to wear it to work, so midi it is. And maxi is just too long for me. One interesting thing about this though was when I was knitting this, for some reason I just didn't like how green it looked in certain lighting. I know you can't really tell it now, but instead of using this yarn, I decided to go to Knit Picks and purchase another yarn. I just wanted to try something a little bit darker that would maybe cancel out the green, which I don't really know what I was thinking, but I just wanted to try it with another yarn. I was just in a super experimental mood, so I decided to buy it in another darker color called Navy. This one's a lot darker, for sure. I held these 3 together, so these 2 up top are the same as the other pairing. It's just the last one that's different, and this one ended up looking like this. And I'll hold both of these side by side so you can compare. I'm curious to know which one you guys like more. I definitely like this one more. It just looks a little bit more cohesive. Whereas for this one, you definitely see the navy peep out every now and then. In my head, it sounded nice, but when I'm actually looking at it, it doesn't look as clean as this one. So I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. So this is the Marie skirt. It's actually knit in broken rib stitch, and this is my first time knitting broken rib stitch, and I really like how it looks, honestly. This is knitted on 4mm needles, and it's DK weight yarn. The yarn, you can choose whatever you want, so I decided on these three. As long as you meet gauge, it doesn't really matter. The problem was I didn't meet gauge, so I'm knitting it on 4.5mm needle, but I think it still looks great. And I'm really happy with the 3 yarn that I chose for this and the combination it makes. So while I was waiting for the Knit Picks order to arrive, I had about a week in between because I live in Canada and Knit Picks usually takes about a week to get here. In that time, I knew I couldn't be empty-handed, like I could not knit, right? And I also didn't want to continue on with the Marie skirt until I tried out the other yarn combination. So I decided to start on the Camisole number 5 that I promised my friend. And this is where I'm at so far. I finished the front yoke. I'm working on the back yoke. I'm almost on the back yoke. And then after this, I just combine it and I join the front and the back to make the camisole. It's so crazy when you knit something on like larger needles and then you go back to like a 3mm. It feels so slow. And before that, I was knitting this sweater, which felt much faster than 3mm needle projects. Like these summer knits, man. This is very nostalgic for me because I've already knit 2. This is my 3rd one, but at the same time, I do kind of find it interesting to go back to a pattern that you knit a year ago and kind of compare your thoughts on it. Now that I have a little bit more experience and I'm knitting the same pattern again, I do feel like this is a lot easier to knit. I remember the first time I knit this, I was struggling so much because I didn't even know what a make one left or make one right was. Both knit and purl, but now I have it basically memorized, so it's just interesting to see how far you've gone and how much you've changed in a year. So I'm knitting this in the Knitting for Olive cotton merino and the color Putty. I've had this yarn for a while now, so it's nice to be able to finally use it and to be able to knit something for a friend, so it was a win-win situation for me. So I'm gonna put this one on pause for now until I finish the Marie skirt, and then I'll work on this once the test knit is done. So let's move on to yarn acquisition. And as you can see, the cat bed or yarn bed is full again this month. So the first thing I shared with you guys were these 2 yarns that I purchased for the Marie skirt. If I want free shipping, I need to purchase additional things to make my shipping free. So I purchased their bear yarn. This is my first time buying any bear yarn, and I've never really dyed yarn before. I've undyed yarn, so I've removed the color, but I've never dyed yarn. So I decided to buy some of their bear lace merino, which, oh my god, like it comes in like 800 meters. I was thinking I would do some yarn dyeing with this and then hold this together with the other yarn, like a solid color or a tonal maybe, just so I can have a tiny bit of accent using this lace yarn. This is what it looks like. This one specifically is called Shadow, and it is 100% merino wool. I purchased 4 because they were doing a 20% off sale, and I figured why not? It's not too expensive and it would be very fun for me to experiment and try out. So I think that might be my project for the summertime. I also signed up for a yarn dyeing course in June with my friend Tar. I'll be filming the whole session if they allow me, so you guys will be able to see the full process and experience. I hope it goes really well and I learned some cool techniques so I can bring it home and do it myself. But yes, I bought 4 of these. Then separately, I also purchased this tonal yarn. This is Stroll Tono, and because I purchased one before in the color Eucalyptus, I decided I want to buy a little bit more because I really like the feeling of this. It feels so nice. So I decided to buy it in this color called Pearlescent. This is fingering weight and it comes in 462 yards. Bought 3 of these because I think this is a classic shade that I can use for a lot of my projects. It's just a white gray, very versatile, so happy to add this to my little collection. And then separately, I also have 2 yarn from Good Grief. I actually purchased this at the end of March, but because I had already filmed my knitting podcast, I didn't go in and add this. And of course, this was on sale as well. I feel like I mainly only buy yarn when it's on sale. This is their Marshmallow yarn, and it feels really, really soft. This color is Autumn Footprints. It is 100% superwash merino in the fingering weight. So you know I really like my fingering weights because I feel like it's so easy to hold it together with something else, or even if you knit something alone in fingering weight, it looks really good too. So this is always my yarn weight of choice. So I bought this one. I really want to do a cable knit sweater with this. Like, that's the vision I'm seeing. I want to hold it together with something that's more solid color and a light pink. Initially, I really like Knits by Summer's cable knit sweater. I was really thinking of that one. I've also been eyeing Sweater 29 by My Favorite Things Knitwear, and I think I might make that one. So we'll see. I might swatch this up once I finish all my test knits and everything else, but I think this would look really great in a cable knit sweater. In the same order, I also purchased the Superwash Merino DK yarn. This is my first time purchasing Northbound Knitting or NBK yarn, and this one is their Superwash Merino DK in the color Abalone or Abalone. I think I'm gonna make a vest out of this. I feel like a vest would look so good in this yarn. So there's that. Lastly, I bought a yarn winder. This is also on sale on Knitpicks. I actually already own a yarn winder. This is from a friend who is getting into knitting and it's her birthday, so I decided that this would be a perfect gift for her because you don't know how great it is to wind up your yarn in a cake form until you actually do it and use it in cake form. So I decided to purchase this for her and kick off that knitting journey of hers. I think that's actually about it for this knitting podcast. I feel like I didn't have much to share because there weren't that many changes in April. I was just very busy knitting this sweater, and now that it's May, I'm gonna be doing a lot more whips, so I already have 2 going. In terms of knitting plans for May, I'm just gonna be finishing off this test knit and also this camisole number 5 before my friend comes. One thing I really want to make though is this baby onesie in the shape of a star, and I saw it on Instagram and instantly I started laughing because it looks so silly, and I think I'm gonna make this for the baby that's coming. I might make it in a Patrick Star pattern and color because that would be hilarious. Although I think even the star is really funny. When you see the baby like moving in the onesie, it's just incredible, incredible. The person who thought of this pattern is just so smart. So yeah, I'm gonna be working on that probably in June. I don't really have any other plans so far. I feel like I'm just really taking things one step at a time. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at right now with my knitting. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I do these knitting podcasts once a month. I also post a lot of knit vlogs where you can see me turn something from a ball of yarn into an actual wearable garment. So if you're interested in those, definitely go check it out. My most recent one is the one for the Belle Blouse, so definitely go take a look. Other than that, I'll also be posting my Japan vlog where I visited Nippori Fabric Town and also some yarn stores, so take a look at that as well if you're interested. So stay tuned for all the videos that are going to come. Thank you so much for watching, you guys. Appreciate all of you, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!